Hi guys, I'm going to show you today how to use PaperRater. So the first thing you're going to do is click on Use Now for free. You can either upload a file if you have Microsoft Word document, or you can just copy and paste. So I have a short story here in Google Docs. I'm just going to highlight everything, and I'm going to Command C to copy, and then I'm going to go into PaperRater and Command V to paste. Next, I'm going to select my education level. So for you, it's going to be 8th grade. Select the type of paper, which is a short story, and I'm going to turn on plagiarism detection. Click that you've agreed to the terms of service and click on Get Report. All of these instructions are available on Canvas, so if you're having a hard time remembering something or you can't remember what step you need to take, you just go ahead and get onto Canvas and it will all be there. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to do is look at all of these categories over here of different topics that the PaperRater has analyzed. You click on plagiarism detection first. You want to have as close to 100% originality as possible. Your work needs to be your own work, not something that you found on the internet, not something that your friend wrote, something that is entirely yours. Then you'll click on Next. Some of these first ones are pretty basic, so we have spelling errors. You need to go through and you can click on the red underlined and it'll give you an option of what they think that you mean. You can ask them to explain it if you're confused by what they're asking, and then you can also ignore, or you can edit if that's not the word that you were looking for. So I'm going to change this to throbbed, and I'm going to change this, it should be window. Alright, so now my spelling errors are corrected. I can go next. Next you have grammar suggestions. So those are going to be highlighted in green in the story. It looks like we don't have any highlighted in green here. So grammar is not too bad here. You would do it the same way as the spelling errors. Just click on them and look at their suggestions. Next you have word choice suggestions. So this is if PaperRater senses that maybe you're not using quite the right word, like in this sentence, but she knew she risked making the conflict larger than it already was. Well, larger might not be the best word to use here, so we can click on it. They think that we might be trying to say the larger conflict, which isn't really what the author's trying to say here, so we could edit this. She's trying not to make it worse, so we could edit it to change this word to worse, say OK, and it has fixed it for us. Same down here, maybe we agree with this one and we just click over to it. Then you can click on Next. At this point, I would suggest taking this, highlighting it. Now that it is properly spelled, has proper word choice and proper grammar, and doing a Command C, deleting what you have in your Google Doc and pasting it back in. Now it might have messed up some of your formatting, but that's okay. We can go back and fix that later. This way you know that you have a correctly spelled paper and a paper with proper grammar. From here on out, you're going to need to look at what they're suggesting, and then you're going to need to take some time and think about how you want to improve your paper based on these suggestions. So the first one is usage of bad phrases. Bad phrases are things that are overused words, overused phrases, phrases that just aren't really as descriptive as they could be. So this person is using quite a few overused phrases and words, and then it's going to give you your list of your 10 worst down here. So you need to then look these up and see what could I replace this with. So she says thing a lot. Well, we know that you can use the thesaurus. So you can get onto thesaurus.com and you could look for thing and find synonyms of thing. And here's all these other words that mean the same thing as thing, but are more descriptive, more interesting. Okay, you want to make sure that you're picking one that actually fits your situation, but that's what you'll need to do for your words here. And then you need to go in and you need to change them in your story. So in your Google Doc, you need to go through, and when it says thing, you need to put something more descriptive. Out of that. The next category is transitional phrases. So if you're having a hard time using transitional phrases, it's going to let you know. It'll tell you the transitional phrases that you are using, and it'll give you some additional transitions that you could use, as well as different places that you could use them. Again, you'll need to then go back into your Google Doc and add these transitions. Sentence length is the next category. It'll tell you if your average sentence length is within an acceptable range. If it is, that's fine, you can move on. If your sentences are not long enough, you might want to click on this effective use of sentence length so that you can get some suggestions of how you could combine sentences or add more details to increase your sentence length. Next is a premium only, so you just go ahead and click on past that. Then you have passive voice sentences. Passive voice can be a little bit confusing, but basically it is when the object of an action is the subject of a sentence. So, for example, her father's eyes were glued to the road. A lot of times passive voice is going to have phrases like was something, were something. And you can get more resources here. We will also talk about this in class on Thursday. So if you have a lot of passive voice, we will talk on Thursday. You can try to read through this resource here, and then we'll talk more about it on Thursday as well for suggestions of how to fix that. Next, your sentence beginnings. This looks at how complex the beginning of your sentences are. So sometimes it's a little bit choppy to just have a noun followed by a verb every single time. So you might want to look at ways that you could maybe start with a prepositional phrase, or maybe start with a transition or something, so that your story is a little bit more enjoyable to read. So there are also, again, resources down here for you, and it'll show you how your sentences are starting, so you can think. Then you can go and say, okay, I want to change maybe this sentence where it starts with you want to. I want to change that so that it's a more interesting sentence. You click on next. Your vocabulary score is here. This is going to tell you if you are using vocab words that are at your grade level. You can again try to increase these by using the thesaurus and using a dictionary to increase your vocabulary. Finally, there's the grade. It's not going to give you a grade because you're in 8th grade and their grading system is for high school and college. That's fine, just keep clicking past it. Here are, again, some of those resources that are available to you. And then if you click on next, it's going to have you send the results to your teacher. So you'll put your name in. We'll just say a student. Your email address is optional. And then your teacher code is listed in Canvas. So you'll just need to copy and paste that teacher code in and then go ahead and press send. That is it for what you need to go through on PaperReader. So once you have gone through all of this, then you can go back to your Google Doc and start to actually make some of those changes. So you might want to have a piece of paper out or something that you can sort of be taking notes on over these different areas that you need to improve, word choice, style, whatever it may be. You might want to have something, or just leave this open in one window and then be working on your Google Doc in another window to try to improve these pieces of your paper. I will see you all tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day.